Madang Gombo Jejunja Yala Jazalo Kange Lodru Jene Jenda Nida Nanda Rabzave Jene Dungun Jeje Zeje Nije Toga Lebam Kanda Bezara Mare Mondon Donga Jizeravi Rozo Gola Boje Darz Yela Joju Yande Doda Jendo Nyomo Nilo Leje Jando Roze Mare Munze Donga Nyo Jine Jeze Ralje Dene Daji Saje Dara Yeden Lezu Jalzi Chudaj Juni Jendre Tale Munze Jabe Ala Om Arabazanani Tseden Jeje Jerawazere Dale Demo Mombarasane Kada Denju Shalo Dobai Lord Bobe Nawazado Kanze Dawar de Ba Chongse Jiwar de Nayang Kombo Jamya Deni Kelme Barya Dongwar Shu Tenen Roar Rugi Samjan Tamje Sanjin Boba Rinpoche Langobar Kyo Nyabe Kulonga Saldam December Shu Tela Kangjik Sember Chevi Rimbani Chunju Ji Komrim Rapsal Nima Deni Re Nason.
Please start by engendering the pure motivation, that of bodhicitta, thinking that you're going to dedicate these studies in order to bring all sentient beings, the 6 classes of beings, to the state of perfect and complete enlightenment. And then in that spirit, listen to the teachings. We're studying text entitled The Shining Sun, which is a step-by-step guide on meditating on the Bodhicaryavatara.
Ola Sonda Deda Wishung de la Kang Jubo Tenji Kansa Kang Jube Samba Zul Chedar Jubin Jorwa Tedar Shubin Devu Tenda Sajan Namba Shi Yongudu Tenanda Tandanga Zo Nipa Kang Jube Samba Din Zare Tela da Mun Badon Jube Samba Ni Jugune Jugure Song Song Ta Jubdan Dode Ani Lebingure Tene Lebindu Ta Choga de Langore Segundua Ani Semje Domba Changju Samba Shweta Nyamlin Chendo Yuna Semje Domba Shugo Yure Domba Dombo Lango Yure Ane Domba Lango no Kazang Yuba Nanshindo Ulma Belu Dang Samzam Belu Kaurung Jigone, Nilamaji Jigun, Tombo, Tombalango. And Langsa Vichela, Nema relation to Sosu Jijan and Tomba Langjo, or Tomba Lango Gure, Tomba Nemeshoga to the Chego Gure. That Shoga Kedu, Ding Dam and Ayure, that Shotos, Jeba Chindoyana, and Kevin Chedan de Delason Rodo. Tenana that's all Jolang Jorwa, Moshi Chersumure, Sungurua. And then Jora Tangbo, also pen Jankor the Nishu Taware, Takarasundu, Sosaba, Yela, Tomba Chawi, Tambo, Choshin Kalo, Seje, Monjum to Shube, Jangar, Rasha Simjan Tamje, Tenji to Kalo Seje, Unit Chezu Tevanache, Yala Tumba Bol or some blast. Cheduta Kare Sungure Sedusana. Tang Soso Soso Yabaja, Soso Yesu, Seti Pa, Yundu Seti Ma, Dun La, Seti La, Soso La never checking the Tao Denzo. Jabla Soso Seti Nin Yehordang, that Tomo La Soba Sosi Seti New you can be Denzo. And Takore and Dori to some Tamji, you name Bitone, that did Dundu any Karisori, Sanje Sedna Jaba, and Salta Gugure. Kidu, Tishin Jaba, Shaja Toba. 아니 탑코레라 아니 뉴 세진 계라 소바 장주 삼바 망보지 여봐 네 눈도 탈하메 네 휴도스 남가 강반낭진 제네 장주 삼바 용조 예코도 코르와지 요 전한 되게 요래 델라트네 야라도 뭐 불고도 티 렘바신도 쳐 주기
que dompa lampe kapsu chiksung song o mapa dan sem tsampa gi luk niore tene dijema ne jagya chesong dijema chiksung resong song
도말랑단데 오마벨로다 섬점데 니 용고 요래디 당보 소소 센지 저 냠는 제도에나 아니 라마콘데 랑고 그래 아니 무드네 균도 소소 냠는 제고 냠마레 신도 섬제지 도 말랑고 그래 델랑고 그네 나야 초가데 제딩디 다면다 요래 빼면서 되바 요래 단도 테스 제바디 아니 델 레빙 고도 아니 데 렘바카레 쇼기
awesome. Our text consists of 4 main sections, among which we have finished looking at the first one, which concerns with the practitioner, the person who is the support for generating bodhicitta. And now we're looking at the attitude with which one practices. When it comes to the attitude, I was explained that there are 2 types of bodhicitta, that of aspiration and that of practical engagement. And in order to engage in the practice of bodhicitta, a person needs to receive the vow from a teacher, right? That can be done following the procedure of a specific ritual, receiving a bodhicitta vow, whether according to the middle way schools tradition or the mind-only schools tradition. And here we follow the middle way. And so an individual who wants to practice bodhicitta, who wants to engage in the practice of generating this mind of awakening, firstly needs to receive the vow from a teacher and then practice that, practice bodhicitta and retaking the vow each day individually on their own. So afterwards it's possible to do that their own home, following a short version of short, ritual of retaking a bodhisattva vow, or there is a middling version and there's a very extensive version, right? So there's these different ways. And here in the text, we have a quite elaborate version of taking a vow, right? So here, how to receive the vow explained in a great detail. And so before engaging in the main part of taking the vow itself, there's a preparation, how we prepare ourselves for receiving the vow from a teacher, right? And when it comes to the preparation, First, we need to understand the benefits of bodhicitta and thereby generate enthusiasm and actually receiving the vow and practicing bodhicitta, right? And we have looked at that yesterday. And now we will continue with the second step of the preparation, so where we prepare our minds, which is the 7-branch practice. So if we move in our text to page 6, on top we have the explanation how to start practicing the 7-branch practice. As the text reads, before practicing the 7 branches for gathering the accumulations, consider that you and all other sentient beings are gathered together in the actual presence of the field of merit, which includes the victorious Buddhas and their Bodhisattva heirs, and bring to mind all their wonderful qualities. So before we start going through the 7-branch practice, or practice that consists of 7 different branches, we need to visualize what it says here, the field of merit. That is the field of merit, which includes the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. So what we do is, it says here, consider that you and all other beings are gathered together. So what we visualize is that when we start practicing the 7-branch practice, we are not doing that alone. But we have to bring to mind our father of this life and place him to our right, mother of this life, and she will be to the left. In front of us, we have to imagine or visualize all the enemies, people who harmed us, beings, right, who inflicted pain upon us. We place them in front of ourselves. And all friends, family, and the remaining 6 classes of beings are all behind us. And so all of us, we are gathered together. And then we visualize in the space in front of us the victorious Buddha. So we visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, who is surrounded by his 8 close disciples, the Bodhisattva heirs. And in this way, we have to imagine that the whole space is filled with the enlightened beings. So not just like in front of us means like a very, very narrow tunnel type of vision, no. But we really have to believe, we have to trust that the whole space is filled with the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and we are surrounded by all beings. And in this way, we proceed with practicing the 7 branches.
지주로 처방고서 샴무스 당보 당고서 주로 처바스리요레 아니 당고서 주로 처바스리 다 강다 가르샴 거라서 가르샴나 저거요레 저도 처바 장마고 그래 랑 아주 배저 땅 살주게 랑마 많이 바고 그래 추도는 추푸 네 사야도는 사야푸 동에는 동푸 더주 장마지 주나 되더라 푸 네 사야도는 장마지 바푸 네 다가나진도 사동 아니 메도이나다 뼈이나다 마르메이나다 타푸임바지 뭐버 강이나드네 메도기 로마이나다 행동이나다 근데 이 조조지 남준 가랑서 아니 배저당에 잘라된죠 근데 참마 되게 요래 배저당에 참마르데 배저당 살죠 지금 말해 어데네 메도 도베 마르메 초장게 연접돼 살고 송랑도와 근데 사와 동알라서 뭐 샤세 라소바 다 근데 지저 강다 가래요 인지메지 삼마고 말해 뼈지 지부주는 저그래 매도 지부주는 저그래 마르메 지부주는 저그래 추장마 약보요 봐 지부주는 저그래 다 근데 사야 남 가리나 양 장마 약보지 동야를 다면다 가리나다 아니 다 단다디 동야를 민다고 쓰잖아 다고 세지 잘라든도 되게 말해 장 알아서 근데 되게 말와 대 마인비 아니 동야를 제당게 동야리라면 가리나다 사돈 다 줘봐 다족 시험송거 열에도 나 줘봐 거에 잡아요 말이다 직집어 주는 그래 망보 주는 그래 강사 소소라라 레그와 같이 레토지고 남는 제때 잘라게 그면서나 그런 가려 봐도 보여요. 그 행동 매도든 저요래 신기 저우든 저라고 요래 주야보라고 요래 매도야보라고 가려 봐도 대 소소소소 사자당 내술당 뜬비도네 네 제저로 야부 장마 야부 전에 샴고 그래. 제라든 장마 야부스는 저 샘장마 고 그래. 샘지 서네 내 마셔 봐. 내 지금 내 뭐지 뭐매지도 미지 통하고 밀라 뭐매야 밀라 적적 당에 된대지 내 마셔 봐. 서네 마셔 봐. 되는 건조 숨당 상제된 줄 대바당 돈바 통네. 그 된대지 보고 이래. 대조고는 것도 샤문사.
The 7th branch practice starts with the first branch, that of offering. So we need to make offerings, and there are different types of offerings. And the first one is the actually physically arranged offerings. So actually physically present offerings. And the text explains, arrange offerings of flowers, scented incense, lamps, pure water, and food and drink as plentiful as you can afford. Right, yes. So that's the first sentence of the text, which pertains to the actually present offerings. That could include anything that is pure, meaning that it's not used. So it's not something that we have already used and then we placing it in front of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, right? Something pure like clean water or flowers, fresh flowers, could be a drink, could be an item of food, could be an incense or candle. So whatever we generally like ourselves, right? Whatever we generally use, we don't need to go out of our way to, purchase something that we don't use ourselves. But nevertheless, we shouldn't give that we have already used, right? It shouldn't be used. It should be a new item. And it doesn't need to be many. It doesn't need to be all of those things. It doesn't need to be and flowers and water and fruits, right? And candles. It could be just one thing, like one incense, one stick of incense or one candle, one, piece of fruit, right? So when it comes to drinks, nevertheless, we shouldn't offer alcohol. So it shouldn't be wine, beer, etc., right? In this context, right? So it could be anything else. And it really depends on our own situation, where we find ourselves. Maybe we are in retreat and we didn't bring all sorts of things with us, right? So we can put one stick of incense. Maybe we are in retreat in the mountains, so we're surrounded by flowers, right? Or fresh water right there outside in the river. So we can fetch that and offer that. Really, it should be done according to our own situation, what we can afford. Because really important when we make offerings is to do that with the pure attitude. And by pure mindset, we mean that it shouldn't be done while being bound by stinginess. Like we really want this thing, we don't want to give it, and then we kind of still offer it. That's not good. We should give freely without having any strings attached. Also, we shouldn't make offerings in order to show off. Maybe someone is, passing us and we're like suddenly going to make this grand offering so that others can see what we are doing, right? Boasting about that, posting on social media. This is all, that's not how it's done. The pure offering is done when we have trust, faith in the objects, the recipients of offerings, and we make offering without sense of stinginess, avarice, without showing off, without the sense of showing off.
So, teni tango su juru chaba gyundu su chaba buldo yo na, ane ta pyo ne ngoma tarsha bulu so chi yore, te joje adisha ne ane tarba kongi song yore, ta ti joje adisha yagane pepe lama jarwa, ane kongi pyo chola pe yungdu, ane gari song resi pyo longba la, ane sato yudu chu zangma yabu yo sarwa, ane chu zangma yabu shana do, 재산 전환도 주직부 표시하나요. 소름 조지 사서래. 아니 저바 자주 뭐 풀던데 야보로 와. 아니 내년도 Then the Yuanjab second Yuanjabu pay losul then the Tare. They call a Yuanjab pay losul yere, the Yuanjaju marchu in Shabzul Medo to be Las over Chaba Nadin Pugre. George those Kanamanes on the Chuchibu pay losul to Chunshare. Chupuna Chu Tanga Misaka Marathans on the Dun Doji, Dunza Dojan. Prosajin dun nang la phuinang dwa dun ko be chaba yo mar chik chik bu nang phuinang de gre kya tong che mo nang la phuinang yan de gre ada chu chang ma ya bo ju ko gre ta yang so so remba mang bo de do yo na ani chön shapsel me do to be la so ba remba shin do ning je de na de gre wa ka ze chön shapsel la so ba chu ma chu dang ze mang bo phol do yo na chu din do ning je wo de ko gre gang jung ma de sha na ma yin ba chu 샤자네 뇌 당보다 예배 바로라 두 직종 쇼부 세동 봐 여봐 아니 초쪽 매봐 추양 안데네즈네 바로라 동바데네 샤난도 그래 아니 추양 아니 강보 강양로나 저거 말을 르도로와 추체가 솔루션은 저거 말을 주데 강조 여봐 아니 두직도 세잡소나 아니 두 당아조 대지 두데 용거라 두직 dos chu dene kang yo na dos seja bore depend dos seja mjega mara dos seja na degre dene je be test tong ba yo ba chu lugu mare ane kap chi na kap do na bol mang ba yo wa tunsan mang ba sha go wa dene chi chi paru la yan do ji shong so jam de ya be kya chum bo na tunza chum bo yo na ane sor ji se sha na degre ane chung na do ji ge se jam na degre wa dene jin ning je bu de 아니 주직부 부셔난 되더와 주직부만 양 정말 먹으면 당보 초연다 샵진이 줄에 대바로라 매도 아니 대체라 버 아니 대체라 마르메 양 대샵 양 지체라 샤세 어디 주 숨당 셴바다면다 먹보죠 연구도 다 되네 샵나야 되그래 다 뼈직부 샵나야 된지 되그래 쉬면 봐 뼈직부 분는 되그래 매도 주부 분는 되그래 양나 뼈당 매도다 주든지 랭가는 또 킬레 근데 매도주 동분하는 줄로 견 된저 창조 주던 거는 매도도 줄 길래 보고 말해 가서 링가당 매도주 덤라당 매도주 샤서잘 다가랑 얘기고는 저거 풀지않는 되거라 줄 길래 양 아주 샤서나샤 주 매도도 돌아줘 양스 그래 대가랑 얘기고는 군족숨도 저거 풀지않아 대양 되그래 근데 방금 나서다 디콜라 타롱체라 시야요 사래 나서
Sunranan Kemplojiri.
나서 다디 제라 계제 또 슬립기래
Last
디디가 주시는 나서
So there's a beautiful tradition of making offerings that derived from an Indian master, Atisha. When Atisha arrived to Tibet, because Tibet is situated in such a high plateau, there's a lot of fresh, clean water. So Atisha said, "You're so fortunate. You don't need to make very elaborate, fancy offerings, lavish offerings. You Tibetans have all what it takes to accumulate merit by making offerings. Just offer this fresh, clean water, right?" And so since then, there's a tradition of making water offerings, pouring clean water in the bowls and presenting that in the shrine. Usually these days we have the 7 bowls, but it could be also just one. It doesn't necessarily have to be 7 bowls, but it could be 1 bowl of, offered with clean, fresh water. And if someone likes a more elaborate offering, then there's a tradition of making 7 offerings in the 7 bowls, not only of water, but of all those substances aforementioned. And there's a special sequence and a way to present those offerings. So for example, we have the 7 bowls. In the first 2, we pour water. And then the next one, we place some rice and we stick a flower, in the rice. So the 3rd bowl is with flour. The 4th one with the incense stick. The 5th one with the candle, butter lamp. The next one with the perfume water, and for example, with saffron. And next bowl would be with a fruit or some, item of food. And when we make these 7 bowls with those offerings, they not just arranged like in a messy way, one bowl here, another one is there. Actually, we place them close to each other, but not touching each other. So between the bowls, if we, imagine that these are the 2 bowls, between them, there must be space of approximately like a size of a rice grain. So there's a one, small rice grain, and that kind of should be, placed, in between. It should be able to fit between the 2 bowls, right? So they shouldn't touch, they shouldn't be far apart from each other. And also when we pour water in the bowl offerings, we don't pour too much that it overflows. We also don't fill it like halfway through, but we fill it kind of up to the brim, but we leave the space, some kind of exactly what I happen to have today in my glass of water. We have to leave the space, which is also like a size of a grain of rice, right? The one that, Khenpo showed previously. If we imagine this, or maybe like a size of nail, that's also okay, like that kind of, so it shouldn't be too much, shouldn't be too little. And in between, we should be able to fit a grain of rice. But again, if we're not able to make those, bowls with the flower, incense, candle, perfume, water, fruit, we can just offer one thing, like I mentioned previously, like an incense, and this incense stick or a flower. And also, if we, in a way, we don't need to necessarily present flower, incense in our shrine. There's also a tradition where we make offerings of fresh flowers. If there's a meadow of flowers, we don't need to necessarily pluck a flower and then, it will wither and die, a bit sad. We can just like imagine that we're offering the whole meadow of flowers to the Buddha, right? But I will talk about this more because it will come with the other types of offerings. But that, what I explained about the bowl offerings and water, was the first type of offering, which is actually present one.
So choba nane ngosu juru choba ngosu shambi choba sigure ta nyeba yeju tulbi choba sigure ta yeju tulbi choba nala rinpoche rewo yidong we nazal wenshin gawe wenshin nyam gawe sachok so choju jeden na yoba nam lue lang ne sungdo ta de tenje medo den so so sasu sajala sha ane lang na dege yesa ne tenang le bing do ta de 갑자기 예돈 제된 나 예동 뭐뭐 형조 나도 랑초 그래 이지 단아 들 리모체 리워스다 리닝조 되는 여러 행동 야고 닝조게 아니 그 행동 리든조 하셔라 그 르다민다 제게래 멘 르다민다 제게래 아니 제든도 송접제 제든 리 행동 망부지게 연구래 된조 되는 리 하정 닝조 여러와 and river you Nazal and Sing Ramada Mambo Yoba, and the Medo down, Cousin Joe down, Loma down, Sing the Nazet and so. Tenzo Samaya, Yi Lang Chogure. That is a long net in it, Sula Pugure, Conjos on the Pugure, Sanyela Pugure. And when Dana the Pangjong, Panga Ningjo, in the Yoroa, Satosa inare, Samasa inare, Jazo Dami inare. ten데 당하니 자소된 저양 직바로와 자소된 저양 하정게 닝저 저의 용거래 어때니 자소이난다 어때니 원진 되니 냠 사제 원바당 레자라서 버든 닝저 요바든데 이나래 다 간다 소소 미디어 통외 사제 닝저 당 저요바 암저기 권용 요바 얘기 참바 정말 얘기 랑네 근데 남상 군조로 보여줘 그래 다 소소 가고가서 저 윤도잖아 니 이동은 뭐부 토그와 다 대군의 사정도 빼야고들은 남상 이제 랑제 되는 건조섬도 줘볼 줘고요. 딜라 셈 풀나 가려서 세르나잔 랑가 말어 안 가죠. 세르나 메베 줘봐도 줘봐 약쇼래. 대인도네 다부 용수 송마송 상마 가리나야 이제 랑네 남상 표장 분양 제선 소남야 망보사게래 네 Sarnaya Lange Mare, Skalea Yomare, or Tindis, such as Chojo Jigden Yobata, Chojo Jigden Kawal Yunan Jigdo, the Chala. The Kari Yunan, ye don't walk Karijuna, Injimini, Kang Kasore, Redang, Chudang, Taxi Ingo Bichabamendoa, Medochi Ingo Bichabamendoa, Kari Inaya. The Pagel Lambalo, Kerang Modra Yabujitona, or the Hijilan Chopopon degree. Kerang Lamba Yabujitonsona, only Chopopon degree. Kerang Samba Yabujitona, Chopopon degree. Kerang Pajul Takari Nandarwa, Kari Ki Yabujitonsona, or Ki the Hijilan Chopopon degree. The Kari Nayan, that Chopopulmicho was on your mother. Or the Sama Yijilang and the conjunction of Chopopul beings.
So that was for the actually present offerings of material things. And next is the imagined or mentally created offerings. And the text reads, then bring to mind jewel-filled mountains, attractive woodlands, and all the uninhabited places of great natural beauty throughout the world. These are known as offerings you don't own. And so here we actually don't need to present anything of material to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, but any kind of beautiful, pleasant place that we encounter or beautiful thing could be in a public place or it could be in wilderness, like mountains filled with jewels or mountains filled with these medicinal plants, right? And flowers, wild flowers. And if we just imagine that, or if we actually encounter such a place, we can either way make an offer that, right? Or it could be a woodland, it could be woods with great big trees, bushes, branches, flowers, birds, animals. We offer that. Or maybe we are more fond of like a meadow, open plain, right? Could be high in on a high altitude, could be in the valley. We offer that. Or maybe oceans, right? And the coasts, the beaches, right? With palm trees. It's also really beautiful. Make offering of that, especially if you encounter such a place, because we travel a lot. We see all sorts of amazing places. Right away, you can pause and make a mental offering to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And a good thing about this offering, actually best thing, is that it's not hard to make that offering for us because we don't own those things. And so we're not bound by stinginess or avarice, right? We're not holding back, nothing to lose. And that's the best type of offering when there are no strings attached, like a really genuine, pure, heartfelt offering. And it's so easy to do with things that we don't own. So it's actually great, great practice where we easily accumulate merit, right? And there's no any pitfall because, well, we don't have any kind of stinginess. And so it's very easy to make such an offering. But it doesn't necessarily have to be actual, like, woodland or mountain or, ocean. It doesn't need to be natural beauty. Of course, we drawn to that, we love that, but it could also be, if we're fond of cars and we suddenly see a great car on the road, make that offering, right? Maybe bridge, a really beautiful bridge, or, great architecture, like a great house, really an interesting piece of architecture, offer that. It could be a dog, anything really, whatever you like and you encounter, you can offer. There's nothing that is not allowed in this type of practice.
Chupa Puli mean the mines and a kaya mar yonzo, ye don't know yunze kangbo, Pulchover in the shoe and bab, Takas a Kukchu do inanda, Zingbo do inanda, Chuchung than the Yimba inanda, that Chu rig in the Tamayang Chupa Pulchover. So that choba kimzen zo de kar chagere ngazo ngobaji ye dongwa sungwa da namsang di de xianba am chagbaji ge yunguru wa na xianja ge ba da namsang konjo somla phuisa choba pulu yilo chaba na xianja de chungdo do ani zimba de de za chungdo do da sonam sa ge gyuni nyam de che do go yure jazang de ni dabu da di xie de da dabu yong so ma song go choba re song do da le jigden na yo ba nam le lang ne bulwa dabu yong so ma song go choba 이보로 렌천섬데 소디 불 다보 용서 마송 오버 용서 이나다 소소지 다보 마송 어제 근데 현오버 용서 바 탐지 편나야 저기 요래 야나 랑신 수야 다보 마송 지당게 아니 미상마지 배주당 처비 다 배주당 스르전 미게 다야당 아니 로쇼고 받은 저와 나도 뭐 배주당 스르전 대란나 대 미지그 냐르고 베게제 게 말해 다 된다 상마 이제 라네 저버벌 초고 요래서 다디 흉 전주 자원나는 렌전섬데 소는 자원된 저디 세된 된 거에 서로 디 되는 분나 야보 요래 다 돈다도 전선은 쓰거나 겨르고 캬바가 요 말해 돈다도 다다 주는 그래 세겨나야 야보래 나서
Secure, non so inji
할래
kesa. Inji
할래
togne
세겨
yore shlokaji.
나서
Di
되는 세겨나
pechinala
인터뷰
chatsan nyamdu. Aha. Allah
나서
suwa.
되는 야보 세겨
Chatsan di ngoma di yan yore di chova keva. Da gemma di shakpala sokpa chatsan tsave sik yan yore.
되는 연아
So
야보도 대
tabda.
간다로 발주 좀 버지 초전 낭샤비 아 장dom랑 초가지 요래 다 디지 시르샤 디지 되나 다다디 다나 가리샤바 상마 파나는 득샤 요래 대 초가데 베제 디 규르나 박 샴바데 텐데 인지가라 규르 요jöre 파 드예 장마로와
Sarena.
때바 가시지다 유르지 말해 나도 현 대가랑래 전주 이제 디즈랑 디랑 팔 득샤 요래 때바 가시 수르랑 수르바네 라이래 마도 현치 바래 다 간다 돈다 삼로다는 리그도 세큐르트만 대우제 약부로와 나서
And so in this way, we make offerings. Before we make offerings of fresh, clean water, of actually, present material substance of water in our bowls at home. Here, we can offer any pond, river, lake, sea, ocean, any body of water we offer. And the reason for why we make this type of offerings is that, whenever we encounter something really beautiful, something pleasant to behold, we feel attachment and grasping. And if we right away make a mental offering of whatever beautiful thing we, experience or encounter, that helps us to reduce our attachment, our fixation on those objects, our grasping, right? The craving will be reduced when we offer it. Like, we like it, but here we give it away in our minds. And it's a great mind training in this way because it helps us to reduce our grasping and it helps us to accumulate merit by making offerings, right? And in this way, this practice of making offerings that are not owned by anyone is so great because, these places are public, they belong to everyone, right? There's no one owner that we can't offer it, but it's everyone's. And so we can take it and present it to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And great to do this practice of making offerings, both types of gift, those that you possess and those that you don't, right? While reciting the following verses that we have translated. So I told Khenpo that because some versions of this text do not have the root, verses, but the one that we follow actually already, have inserted all the translated root verses. And Khenpo was very glad to hear that. So he said, that's great. So while making offerings, you can actually recite these verses, right? On page 6. Well, so far we are on page 6. And so while reciting, it starts with the verse, in order that I might adopt this precious jewel of mind, I now make the most excellent of offerings to the Buddhas, to the sacred Dharma, the most rare and flawless jewel, and to the Buddha's heirs, those whose qualities are limitless, and so on and so forth. Right? We have those verses, so you can recite them while making offerings. There is another text by Patrul Rinpoche where we have all these verses from Bodhicaryavatara and added verses for the 7 branches. But in any way, maybe it's in English. And translator's note, I'm not sure, maybe. But in any way, we are really fortunate that we have all the verses compiled, right? And from the root text included in the translation. So you can do the practice while reciting them.
So, tadi chala kyaltang tese soje rangi kosum tendabulu choba songshadu. Tadi zawa, chonja zawa nana kyaltang tese lasoba tsikdi songyungu yore. Tadi tonda de sozo di lu nga yusum de kunjo sumna pugu yubi kejare. Kansana tanda nga zo ji lu nga yusum de nge yin nga rangi yin lamne takzin shuk chombo jiksung. Dila tene lenga ma mabu je kyun ma cheba ni sak chog yore ta lenga ma kyun ma cheba shuk chombo tene mu tene zoya me ba che sa yong du ni nga zo khorwa dila dila ngoma ya thar yo mare ne mong ba yan dene ra chena thar gi mare la tanda ya thar yo mare wa ta di thar tabla khare che go du se du sana lunga yisum de peju yang da ba che dang go re peju yang bo dang ye de tab ya sho di ta chö shin du chö ro wa 최신의 주스든 류가 있으면 최를 넣다야래. 건조스물 푸 전도 푸스도 다 최제라 마도 건조스물 냐르니 저런 수비 치료에 가지요 말와. 기대면도 내 류가 있으면 가르치네. 건조스물 푸사이라도 다 최지 나신 제긴 있으게 계절도나. 네. 류양 건조로 푸사이 최낭 나나는 개워주 좀 매개워주 빵 라소바. 네. 다 가서래. Children Takba Chechung Sozo Children Labi Rima Yungu Tedang Tumaji Chegin, Shendun Labardo Tekjan Yunana Shebi, Shendun Chedu, and the Legadin to Chegins. Nagi Bonayatene, Che Songra Dendola, Lobjong Chayadang, Kadun Doyadang, Lasobata, Dinto Chegins, Yidu Gunetene, Changju Yesem Ningje, Tongbani, and it 띵엔진 라소바 코메드는 베전 제기 힌스게 제도 건조스물 프레사위절로 다 건조스물 내가 가르쳐 그래 딘조 책으로 와 나도 봐 건조스물 키드네 내가 때 가야 말을 내가 되다 쳐주게 되게 제도는 내 건조스물 포기 납되잖아 내 다네 송대 영화 있으면 최낭신 제 답시 단계 힌스게 계절에 다 제도 건조 프레사위절로 건조지 숨지 가린 가능 되제래 kunju sumne ka nang se zo kunju namga la de kyola dije dile di majal tene labe kunju sumji yo ka yo mare kunju sanje se jo sana ta di ma zo chapter ko se legi re di tanda shu me do ta kunju sumna phu se di tana nge kewa yang da ba chigin la bi ro do na ta ra re do.
The next type of offering we have on page 7, where it reads, with the following verses, offer your own body, speech, and mind in servitude. And the verses start with the lines, to the Buddhas and their Bodhisattva heirs, I offer my body now and all my lives to come, and so on and so forth. So here we make an offering of our body, speech, and mind, so that, we offer it to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in a way that, now it doesn't belong to us, but now it's going to be put for a greater use. Right now, what happens is that we, on the basis of having body, speech, mind, we develop very strong clinging, ego clinging, ego grasping. Out of this grasping to a self, mine, my body, it's me, we engage in all sorts of different activities or actions that, known as karma, because, we act out of this ego grasping, and we act out in this endless way. It's kind of like a circle, we grasp more to ourselves, then the more karma we accumulate, and the more karma we accumulate, the less there's a chance for us to attain liberation. there is a less, so far we haven't freed ourselves from this endless cycle of existence. And in the future, we won't free ourselves if we will keep clinging and grasping to self. And so now, since we have already body, speech, and mind, there's a great way to take advantage of the situation and make good use of it by giving it away to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And giving away doesn't mean that now they're going to keep it and take it away from us. And, what it means is that now it's going to be dedicated, our life, right? By giving it to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, our life is going to be dedicated to practicing virtue, benefiting other beings. So basically here we give ourselves so that we can spend our life doing something meaningful, doing something virtuous, like 10 virtuous deeds, and stop engaging in 10 non-virtuous deeds. So having given away our body, or like giving away means having offered our body, now it's going to, practice discipline, ethical discipline, and going to engage in all sorts of beneficial activities carried out for the sake of others, generosity and so on, discipline, right? Physical activities that benefit others. With our speech, now we're going to say only something good and meaningful and helpful for others. We're going to recite the prayers, the verses. And with our mind, when we have offered our minds to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're not going to, misuse that gift. But what will happen is that it will be dedicated. Now our mind is going to be dedicated to the practice of compassion, development of bodhicitta, practice of meditation, and developing insight into true nature of reality, emptiness. So when we give to the free jewels, they don't want anything from us other than to use our life, our body, in other way, our speech, whatever we do, whatever we say, whatever we think, for the benefit of others. That's what this offering means, right? It doesn't mean that now someone will gonna take it away and that will not, and that's kind of, and put us to work. It's not going to be an enslavement camp. It's rather going to be an offering where we give it to greater good, which is practicing virtue.
So, da kasi de kasi kozum tendo pulu choba de ngazo mikba chachumbo tone da chendo yona ene sozu lutul chogre tingen zin komne yi da sozu sugbu chigne ni ne she ne cha ne ton de chi de ma tun de sai jiden je kham ji thol da nyamba yana namke tha da nyamba sozu lu de tul lu mongbo chazong den 네 갸로서 단체바 담지 된지 dunyi 남가로 쭉 요약 가르와 아 된저 상마는 고숨이야 류 줄jo 된다 저거 풀린다 저런 이제 가래가 남바데 내 제게 인 단에서인데 내 류가 요즘 저런 류 당사이 다 저런 이제 가래 라방가 년기 살아다 라방에 된지 주 자인바 는 저주에 모두 현재가요 말와 어디네 미과 좀 주성부 검도여나 아니 류망부 줄내는 저거 보여요래 남가 타는 냠바 줄쳐라 사이 돈난 냠바지 줄 띵은 시바 칼에 삼로당 르르 진 삼테네 데레지 줄나인 되그다 양 미망보 냠도 배제든 돈바든 데레잖아 때네 데로 삼로 망보지다 이제 주저해라게 말해 남가 타는 냠방에 수부 줄려 대 건조성으로 불기 다 제제 송바 망신등에 겨워주 대바방과 제긴 전에는 좀 질로 송나 배제 대한 되그래라 양 책든 제주 됐네 너나야 되그래
Gonda di mi mampu mi
también 까볼라 가서
nyamdu
가서라 냠도 된다 초바 들은 가서 냠도 동기에서 그러와 냠도 동기 가서 타고 타 줘야 마도바 근데 때 나도 미과 검사 마서 때 스쿨에 요 말와 소소 직부에는 거미과 직라 karmachu pechadana degree karmachil sarna degree robanyam do de ko doyar ma do ko merwa tena sobat lidu sang pecha tomba don to mu te school aslam na ko marwa dogro adire nas
If you would like to do this offering of your own body, speech, and mind in a more elaborate fashion, then what you can do is you can visualize how your body is getting, multiplied. So it's not anymore one body, but it's the, many, 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 many of you filling the whole space, right? You're not offering only you, but like it fills the whole, the whole space everywhere, right? Equal in size to the whole universe. And that's what you're offering, right? And when you offer, you basically give yourself in servitude, like you offer yourself, to serve the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. You basically tell them, by this offering, I will do whatever you say. But what do the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas anyway want from us other than the practice of Dharma? That's all. So it's not like you give yourself and then who knows what they will do with you. That's a bit, dubious. No, it's not like that. You're absolutely sure that you're going to give yourself to the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, give your body multiplied in size, so that, in other words, you're going to dedicate your life to practice, to, dedicate your life practicing the Dharma, because that's all what the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas want from you. And sometimes, we don't have time to, sit down and really engage in this practice, in this elaborate way, because maybe we are doing this practice in a group, in a group of people. Like sometimes we get together, recite some, right? We do some practice together, and then it's not like you can raise your hand, say, wait, I didn't finish my visualization, stop the puja, right? No, it's like it's just gonna go. And so the thing is that while you recite the verses, what is very important is to practice while reciting it. It's not like you recite and then you have time to sit down and, visualize. Maybe when you're alone, you have time. But when you're with other people, you don't. And so while reciting each line, you can already visualize in that moment that your body gets enormous in size and or multiplied in the quantities, and all of that you're offering, so that it's going to be, your life is going to be dedicated to the practice of Dharma, to the practice of something virtuous and wholesome. That would be enough. So elaborate doesn't mean that you need to have an hour a day to sit down and do in order to do this practice correctly. It doesn't mean that. It means that you sometimes have only some minutes, but still you can already include that kind of elaboration, or that kind of visualization of yourself, feeling the whole universe and being offered while reciting the verses at the same time.
No, so 아니 된 or 저도 인지면 양 류도 뚫고 배 잡아야 가요 말에 인지문지 망보줄 마주 봐서 소주 류 여봐도 다랑 저 불로 있냐면 봐봤잖아요. 대한 그래.
But multiplying one's body, in quantities that it becomes many, many bodies is not absolutely, indispensable part of this practice. If you don't do that, it's also okay. But there was just like an extra tip that it's possible to do that. But it's up to you whether you do that or not.
아니 진짜라 트위게 강바 속에 얘기 줄비 쳐봐서 다 얘기 줄려 쳐봐래. 얘기 줄디 다대 강바 다 트위강 다나 꾸준히 로제라도와 아니 저런 게 얘기 예라다 주주 중코로나 셔버지 뭐 제년이 트위강 살담나 되그래 대만이 트위강 간에 살담나 개발해요 말에. 트위강에 여보지 살다 겨와서던 저바담제 된 덴덴슈 아니 주제지 제된도 양되는 약부 가서 주의나래 예 익제이나래 되는 주에서 오절라 하는 거서 제야든지 아주 된저 여러와 된저 상마 아니 얘기 살담네 된저 상마라 당부 덴덴슈 덴덴슈의 주 꾸주설네 되네 상마 가서 그렇지 되는 상마 얘기 딱 남과 타다냐 뭐 망보지 주지 강바드네 이 검적으로 최강 수부트에서 강바 그래서 강바 리담나 가래 검난데 전주 코로나 시제 강바 줍시 토즈니 야나 토즈 숨 아니 제사 나상을 되네 임밤 되네 강바든서 상바 라이샤에 강바 라와 아니 주든서 상바 두제제랑신 되네 가서 그래 제마신보 가야지 되네 the Zedin Zoju and the Pejadan Yoba, and the Sangmayang Kasagore, Dugdang, and the Buddham and the Magoba Yimba, Tendejan, Saltap, the Junjun Korana Shajan, the Rojua, and the Conjosum Samba Chendenche, Chendajin, true nutrition, true Savagelatine, like Koyasangma de Chi, Chi, 다 된대로지 살다버리 디지부지냥 거의 차바양 개요 말해 소소소소니 로당 빠베 토네 양 구드나에 제나에 그래 흉기 책던 제조된 지고지냥 구드소나에 그래 강다 추솔 세대잖아 나랑 저선 데라 데여래 야가 도가 상황 냠바 사서근데 빼도 약보래 나랑 빼 독자래 나선 제인 상제 약보래 선데 남동 무대로 데로 남도 망보지여래 디 남도도 상마 쏘고 그러와 대 남도 상마 소야지도네 이주 툴샤라 이주 툴근 소라 나랑 게 툴와 제도 나랑 툴 수도잖아 나조 지섬데 대신 용보 요래 대신 용보 딜레 하가지 상제지 개 요야 말해 제도 랑게 툴인도잖아 상제양 소소로지 차되게 요래 나조 상제 첼로라 살가 조도 하우로와 샤교도 물론 예동갑자 두주 몰라 펩사레 공바 조사레 다 단다 예 말해 선다 나조 가성 다저셰베 가서 들어오지 싫어다 지당 로단 된데로지 레드나 상제 샤기도 버칠로로지 요즘 말와 섬지 대신 용보들은 인규래 근데 대랑게 예 다디 대신 용보 tel라 로리 테마든지 드립대버든지 상마소에 탑라 아니 알랑을 쳐봐야 보지 풀네 소나야 보사고 그래 대체되는 소소랑게 인내 줄샤고 건조숨 상제 당 장주선바 용조바 탐지 다 장주선바 잠마세 년도다 란잘 아니 상마 텐디션에 되그래 또디 상마라더니 쳐봐불 되니 상마소 아니 투이잡 아니 남사풀 투이잡사고질 남사도 양자를 그 라이 고열라서 보니 남사 아니 소벌라 드마심보 가야지 주에 까르주 마르주도 망보지도와 된저이 푸 아니 샬라든저 푸비 남바다 남준 가나서 미지 제당지 미지 가려 버다우로 상마 제시는 그래 다디 이디데 툴네데 저버불 다 살보 슈울레도는 빼야고와 서우면은 삼르주고 당신은 그래 어딘데 제인 딘데 제인 삼르주고 다나 kumikwa chadu kore. Ta mikwa yakbo kumkan tenzo mesa salbu leburwa, changma shara mekhala sawu shara yongmarwa. Ta samlo chikdana den dhigre. Teni chala ta sozo san rangne su pep song dhigre. Rangne su bidrosa kaya mara nam somji yingle shara yungde san somji korangla ma lak dhuyarwa. Sozo rangne su pep song dhigre.
Next, we have the offerings that are done with the next verses that offer gifts created in your imagination. And here we can follow the actually gifts depicted in the verses on page 7, like a bathhouse filled with soothing scents, right? And, like we invite the Buddhists and the Bodhisattvas to come and bathe themselves in the scented water, right? And offer them, beautiful music at the same time, anoint them with perfume scent, offer them, beautiful garments to put on, and first of all, of course, dry themselves with soft towels. So we can follow the lines and visualize those things, or we can also kind of visualize whatever we would like, of course, like a bathhouse with some soap and soft towel, but it could be as it is depicted, like a three-storied, building, basically like a celestial palace, like a beautiful palace, right? And water is like a nectar, and so we can visualize according to the description of the text, or bring to mind our own, kind of basically work with our own imagination, bring to mind our own images. And all of this is done, we need to understand that, because we have the concepts of this is good, this is bad, right? We all constantly divide things, and in this dualistic fashion of thinking, oh, the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, the deities, they're good, they're better than me, I am worse, I'm a human being, I'm bad. So we have this kind of dichotomy, And we need to purify it. We need to purify this dualistic fixation. And so what is happening here is that if you think about it, we are making offerings to ourselves. I mean, the Buddhas that we invite is not some real Buddha that is going to come, right? The Buddha Shakyamuni lived 2,500 years ago. It's not going to come and be there in front of you. Your imagination works in a way that you evoke your own Buddha nature. When you make offerings, you kind of like working with yourself in a way that you invoke your own potential to be a Buddha, which is temporarily veiled by obscurations, right? By all sorts of disturbing emotions and other type of obscurations. And in order to purify these temporary obscurations from your Buddha potential, you're making offerings. Right? So you are the one who emanates the offerings. You are the one who receives the offerings in a way, because the Buddhas who are invited also created by you. And so in order to purify these things and all the obscurations that veil your own Buddha, that lives inside you, because the Buddha is not somewhere outside, in order to unveil that, purify that, in order to get married, you visualize all these things so that you actually work in a way with your own Buddha that is inside you, and you purify what obscures that Buddha from actualizing, from manifesting in its fullest. This is the way of making, of offerings. If you think about this, when we invite the Buddhist bodhisattvas, and not only bodhisattvas, also the Shravakas, the listeners, the Pratyeka Buddhist, solitary realized, practitioners, all of them, you make this elaborate offering of bath houses with nectar like water, the garments, and then anoint them with fragrant perfume scents and offer them food. This is all what basically we as humans also enjoy. Right? This is done in accordance with the human customs, like have a good food, have a good clothes, a nice, beautiful bath, like in a sauna, like in a spa. We enjoy these things. And so that's why we also visualize them and offer it to the Buddhas who do reside, like the Buddha who resides inside ourselves. Now, if we can have a very vivid visualization, it's great. If we can actually see everything in detail, wonderful. But if our minds are not trained to engage in this the visualization techniques, it's fine. What suffices is to believe that they're really there and they're receiving these things. You don't necessarily have to see it, with like closed eyes, and then you really clearly see it, like pictures, like of the movie. You can just have that inner trust that that's what's happening. This is truly happening now, and that's enough. And then the Buddhas are gone back. Where do they go back? Well, they dissolve back into ourselves, because we are the one that emanated them. We are the ones where they go back to. So that's the way to engage in the practice of making offerings.
Tene dechala tele shenya soji molam to bichaba sigure tadi keja to tab te ho ro sheba na da jeten je kamdla sanje ji kuden na sum ku rita mina mambo yore sungden sunga lebom mambo yore tuden tuji cheden ne mambo jita na ne te yore bena da sanje ji chuden jeten je kamlo chuden cha jese kan do da 와티네 가서로 와라나세 라타 여러와치 티네 도제된 로나 때 바이올라이나 최된 넘버 숨 나간 로나 티네 산지지 구의 릉셀레 산베 최절 아쇼카 이제 다 상상베지 최된 망보진나는 단다 지든 감달라 망보 통한도와 네바지고라냥 가셔지 여러 정한이슈 그 정한이슈 같이 뚝든지 뚝든제지 베제 여러
다둔 katsoyore?
여다 잠불링을 초된 재화지 생각해서 그래도 잠불링들 앞에서 정한 휴질 하여서 대나는 네발 직불로 둔제제 요래 대나는 와다 대로 초된 이나래 내다 산지 유릉슬 요건 매겐다 초된 망보 용적으로 와 소소 강반나라야 저는 샤면되는 연구도와 와 된절라 고송 토된 된절라 쳐봐 균마치 봐 풀어 쇼선 라고요래 대단하다 다 상제제 고된 된절라 쳐봐 불 송된 된절라 쳐봐 불 토된 쳐봐 불 미선함사거로 와 심진 탐지 선함사에 거가 브라보 쇼 라고요래 그래서 도도지 뭐놈도 비셔봤을 건데 다 미든도 소소소소 되든 되진 자정보 되는 레벨도 되는 상제제 꿀라 쳐봐 표현하고 nyama takbar sozo kusung to den den zolo chawa pyo da no den jena sonam kyun ma cheba sa ro wa sonam kyun ma cheba sa so na den ko sonam khazo ji den jo sa ba de jo ji mi de sam ji de ba den zo ma sa ro re de ba khazo da ba den chwe nam do dribe je ko sang do ra ro go re wa de den kyun ma cheba yong war sho so ke ja don da zo de ro ji re.
Next, we have offerings that are made through the power of aspiration, and that's on page 8. So there are 4 verses that pertain to this offering. And to explain it in an easy to understand way, what is this offering made by the power of aspiration? Well, in this world, we have many representations of the Buddha's enlightened body, speech, and mind. What are those? The representation of the Buddha's enlightened body are the statues, the images, the replicas of the Buddhas. Representation of his speech are all the different treatises, the texts, the scriptures that we have. And representation of the Buddha's mind are the stupa. Stupas are the symbols for the enlightened wisdom of the Buddhas. And we still have many great stupas, right? There are many small stupas, people build them in their yards, right, backyards. But if we talk about great stupas, and by great we mean when the Buddha passed into paranirvana, his relics that were left were divided, right? And then later on, centuries later, King Ashoka collected all those relics from the stupas and divided it further and built many hundreds of stupas all over, Southeast Asia and even, Afghanistan, Pakistan, etc. And so there are still stupas that remain from that time that possess the relics of the Buddha, maybe 15, 20, and around 7 and 8 of those are in Nepal. I mean, we also have the stupa in Varanasi, the stupa where the Buddha turned the Dharma wheel, give his first teachings. It's Varanasi in India. We have the great stupa in Bodh Gaya, of course, and Lumbini. And so the places that connected with the Buddha, where he was born, attained enlightenment, etc. But also in Nepal, we have 3 great stupas and other also really important stupas, so 7, 8 of those ancient stupas are present. And so basically, the offerings made through the power of aspirations are such that we aspire, we make an aspiration here that may the offerings constantly be made to all those representations of the Buddha's body, speech, and mind. Wherever they are, the stupa, statues, texts, may they constantly, make beings constantly make offerings. And so may there be an uninterrupted flow of offerings and merit accumulated thereby. So this is the kind of the aspiration we make here. Basically, this offering by the power of aspiration is the offerings that we aspire for all beings to continuously make offerings and continuously accumulate merit and purify their mind streams. Right? Lasso.
So, tini de chala chedar jamyang sokji lana mebe choba segure. Tadi lana mebe choba de keje kodam birimanda ni konan resare chigde das ngar sanje da changjo samba namje choba kande puyo ba da na je nge pugu yin maung ba sanje da changjo samba kande je choba puyo ba te na je nge pugu yin danda kande puyo shen ba ya da na je nge pugu yin sana keje chig o te konan degido keje chigde kunsang chodin segere ku changjo samba kundo sangbe ni choba segere 다 군도 상배 쳐봤어 근데 간제 나비 초그래 세지잖아 산지 전주 선배 군도 상배 산제 샤제도 발라 쳐봐 보인도 그런 꾸이 참마직래 아니 가르서 그랬고 망보tul 망보 레레야 망보tul 레레레 망보tul 제된 감용 주보담 군도 상보지 꾸이 거바 지고 낭 꾸이 거바 레레레 차라더니 최비제 다 쳐봐 보여게 제 하면다 민도 망보되는 남여 봐 근데진에 근데 상제샤지도 몰라 쳐봐 보아래 다 대표인데 되는 상제 토니베 넘버 토니베 되는 넘버진에 좀 당된 좀된 어다 대야고도서 마음발라야 되는 섬진 속소남 쇼초로 사도유나 대나진 쳐보나 약보유래서 상제가 낭용도 한 대내송데 아니 가서 그래 군상 처진서 근데 명토바래 아니 명아줘야 다 대나진 쳐보 불초고래 당 아주 부에도 좀 미과 고매를 마도 어저 소버줄에 가요 말아와 소저 이네 장주선부 군도 상부 주나 되게 야나 쳐빌 함모 쳐보 보고 이제 함모를 다 맨다 망보지 줄 데레레레 토가네 어서트네 양초벨 한번 망보줄 데레레는 초벨 한번 망보줄 데레는 다 제된 감 용조 초벨 한번 이제 강 초벨 한번 레레 차거든 졸라더니 초보부지 제다 메도다 도베다 마르메 라소바다 초벨제다 메도 망보 남네 아니 잘로서다 제발 초보 보고요 봐 초보 풀네 저서다 제발 또 예배 돈데 해송 예배 뭐 텐데지 군노이나 다 군상 초딘서 그래 dinni ta kharib samlatang to ba na yang digere sozoji de bare.
Then next, actually, and I made mistake there, it's not the four verses that pertain to this offering that's made for the power of aspiration, but only two. But then somehow in our English translation, we are missing the title of the next offering. Right before the verse 22 on page 9, right, which starts just as Manjughosha and the rest. So that, that's already another type of offering, and it's called Unsurpassable Offering. So now we should make the Unsurpassable Offering. And why is it unsurpassable? So this verse 22 is the Unsurpassable Offering, that verse alone. There are two ways to understand this offering. It reads, just as Manjughosha and the rest made offerings to all the Buddhas, likewise I too will offer to those Dasgan and all their Bodhisattva heirs. And one way to make this unsurpassable offering is to kind of, when we make offering, we think while recite this verse that just like the Bodhisattvas of the past, such as, for example, Manjughosha, it's the name of a Bodhisattva, disciple of a Buddha, just like he and other masters have made offerings in the past, or will make offerings in the future, or make offerings now, like great masters, how they offer, I follow their footsteps and offer exactly in the same way. So kind of like an offering of, concordance, thinking like great beings offer, I offer in the same way. That's one way to understand this unsurpassable offering. Another way is something to do with the offering known as the Samantabhadra offering. Again, it's a name of a bodhisattva. Well, I can write it later down. Samantabhadra. It's a name of a bodhisattva who made the offerings in a way of, visualizing how his body emanates, his one body emanates many same, alike looking bodies, and from them there are more and more and more. And so in this way, we can see progressively from one body there are, many bodies of Samantabhadra emanate. From them there are further and further, and so until it reaches the ends of the universe, and all of those bodies of Samantabhadra hold offering substance. So they all make offerings. So basically it's a practice where we can multiply. And of course we just visualize it. We can visualize how we multiplying our body, and then those bodies multiplied further and further and further more, and all of them make offerings. So it's kind of like, it's like following the footsteps of Samantabhadra who made it. And so when the Buddha learned about Samantabhadra making offerings like that, he said, oh, it's great practice. In the future, those who want to accumulate a lot of merit in a very fast manner, swift manner, can make offerings like you. And so the name then was attached to this type of practice, to this type of offering, like Samantabhadra-like offerings. Or we can also visualize, if we don't want to emanate our own bodies, right, and multiply them, we can imagine how the offering goddesses, or gods, they like fill the whole universe. Like again, they multiply from one body, many comes from those furthermore, so they grow experientially in this way, and those goddesses and gods make offerings so that they fill the whole entire earth and make offerings. So the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas are extremely pleased by receiving those types of offerings. So that's the unsurpassable offering. Last one. So we stop here for today, and now there are questions, and I saw there was already a question from Stephanie, so I'll just translate that first while you can type if you want other questions. So the question about the Bodhisattva vow, so question was, did, the personal daily practice of retaking the vow is done only in the middle way traditional? The Natso Janjus Semke Dompa. The Natsun Dachi Krisanima Takpar, Nintar Dachik, Sususolara, the Yankerlani Yores, Nyamlen DJ, Choga DJ Yores. The Umapa Gilukla Chishachene, the Natsujogore, Yana Samsampi Lukla Yan DJ Yore, Nimatakpar, Chog Dachik, Sususul Dompalanigi. Choga DJ Yan Yorepe.
Yore, go Tangbo, Langdan dite, Tasmindamado, Gelatin, Nige, Yamataba Lang Yore.
Dampodi,
Tangbo Lama Lang Yong, do that Langdan, Umabe Lula, Lama Lang Chokbang, Yang Dam, Kusung to the line, Rigdam, the Yore. Some Zamilula, Tayumar, Inji Mini, go Tangbo de Lama Nang, Rang Langore. The Umabe Lula, Lama Lana, Yashotigra, Lama Mena. Landa Shema Yure. Di Chela, and Yamata Sozo Semzama Inada, Umaba Inada, Sozo Lanchokre. There's a chocolate Java Chanatin, Tana Rimba Malay to Dinashan Rocho, Tuba Chana, that's among us Nazakashi Chogua, Tuba Konan Lang Deo Yure. When a chocolate dam and Dongarts and go Tambo or Semji Yure. Tagaro is something you don't belong Savare.
So the answer to Stephanie's question is that, well, actually, to take a Bodhisattva vow or like do the practice of taking Bodhisattva vow daily is possible in both traditions, the middle way school and the mind-only school. So the difference between the tradition is that the difference only at first when you actually take the first time vow, not when you retake it, but the first time vow. According to the middle way school, you can take it from a lama, that's the best case, from an actually present teacher. Or if it's not possible, it is possible to take the first Bodhisattva vow in front of the representations like a stupa or statue, image. So it's possible. Where in a mind-only school, you can take the vow only from a living teacher. You cannot take it from this, in front of the stupa or in front of a text or statue. So the difference is there. But afterwards, in terms of generating bodhicitta daily, right, on a daily basis, both traditions follow that. Of course, it's not enough just to take it once. You really have to take it over and over again. And the way to take bodhisattva vow on your own, like retake it, every day. Well, we will speak about that, right? Because there's different ways. Here we're going through extensive way. When you first prepare yourself, generate joy, go through 7 branches, and then etc. So this is a very long way. And if we don't have time every day to go through all this, 7 branches and so on, there is a shorter way to generate bodhicitta every day, and we will look at that. But basically, in Tibetan Buddhism, we have different practices. And each and every practice always starts by reciting the verse of bodhicitta. So in this way, we actually retake the vow whenever we do any type of practice, in Tibetan Buddhism. But anyway, we will look at this shorter, more concise way of taking a vow on a daily basis later when we arrive at the vow section of the text. So then, Chivashenda, then we have a question from Audrey. The Khenpo talked about purifying our dualistic categorizations, good versus bad, etc. While making offerings, could he give us an example? Te Khenpo deringi di natso namtok di yakpo di duga di da hladi yapo natso duga di lasok para di namtok di je nidzingi namtok di natso chopa puligi gone natso da jan tubgeres inen kanjes di Khenpo di pechik shana di natso ninangi namtok di jani da chopa gone janingi kanjes jan tubgeres
라서 다 무슨 주로 쳐박았네 다 야가 마도 배워가면도 와 단데 얘기 줄바당 다 디갑서 쪼래 그래 아다 얘기 줄바갑서 되는 아주 대야고도 대갈 거고도 대야고도 대양갈 거고도 대가 거고도 아주 정말 답고 자야지 로식 좀 벌래 그래 대갈 주나 야갈 납섬 내 그래 와 대 빼야고도 선다 미카실 레비 말데 미 카실 레비온 거래 텐데지 zemba데 레비온도 선다 남상 오다 빼닝저 야고도 선라네 남상데 야고도 템바당 오다디 권조섬도 쳐봐 풀긴 데 권조섬도 쳐봐 풀와 인선 됐나
Yeah.
빼야고도 다디 권조섬도 풀인 남상 zem바데 때에서 총도도 그래 데 권조 풀 사와인데 땡갈 거고도 내 ngala chungna chi maru nyambe lodi chungdu dogre
Lasso Khenpo inen di chiva di te ngoma drin Khenpo gi natso yan deshi nimpo sumpi kapsu chik sun song di natso di dukpo di yakpo di jantub geres kainsen natso da sangeran da chik da chilogla mepa di kapsu kirangi sun song inen di chik kiran Khenpo gi
ale laso
di
ale laso
di kapsu da dina yan da chik da danda ki gürchige yin ina yan morangi chiva di kapsu chik lepsong kangesti natsu jantu gere di Khenpo gitets gyopusun son di yapo di dugpo schla yaga natsu duga ina yan sangeda chilogla menara tene di kapsu natsu yan di loburgi jima dag jogeres di kanges dag jogeres di pechik suna
ale de tui donde songjor da tuiji yi ji tulbi chikapso songjor da ale ngonaso tanga zo tadi pe kande jin labko sare de
no yana kanges chik tets dadum sumpaina
laso
marang
tigre
ochera hago yosamare
ngazo kare tangi de se ju sanje sekende chelo la yoba ne lo nyedong abjang la pep semba tanda ne dongsares chue sekende konggi sung xiaoju yi geje den zores kendun labde zana ta dilobjong chegende zore ta tende khaga roji chen rogu yore ane ngarang sozo ke yore semjen thamal ware tane sanje sekende pe za shumba pe ya kangla yore ta diroji lo pe shuk shumba yore nga zui ten nga zo kale chap cho dhubi kapsu de ngawa nge kawa la khagire nge nga zo kawa yungure nga semjen rowas chik mila reba je che dowas la konzo sanje rowas ta diroji lo je shagi rowa o ta dilo di nor re sikire kazana sanje de ngarang so je semgi ngo de rang re de yure mila reba ko kale chamna ko semgi ngo de ta chun ro ra ma do ko kale ma jan ko nyawa na lo ro de yure ko mi sum ju song ha ba ser wa ting ju na zo semgi hi de la de jin ni ba rang shin yure cha je to ba se sanje de sem ngarang zo semgi chuni de rang re de yure wa ta dis chuni de ngon du gyure tabshe la kar che gore den so za de jang che gore se be ge jare de semgi hi de nam kha nang sing re ko chang ma ro wa 다 단다 녀몽 바시에서 접어 요건데 찜바다 그래 다 속삭 접장 제당 검 냠len 제당 쥐깔레 망보 제베디 룽 잡여도 그래 룽 저기 마 잡아 있는 데는 찜바 돌도 그래 찜바도는 남바 상마샤 그래 남바 상마샤는 상지 그래 근데 밀라도 다 배제 배되게 그래
lain so to reply to this question first Khenpo he there was some little misunderstanding to exactly to what the question was, so he explained something else. But that was also good, so I'm going to say that as well. So Khenpo thought like, okay, how to purify the grasping when we make offerings, right? He replied to that, well, where it's easy to do. Of course, it's harder with actually present offerings. They're right there, kind of like solid, so to say. But with mental offerings, whenever we encounter something beautiful and we feel grasping or we feel covetousness, someone else has something and we covet it, that grasping is possible to reduce by right away, whatever we see, offer it, give it away, let it go in your mind, right? Give it to someone else in your mind. That's how it's helping. But then we clarified further as for Audrey's question, because I think it came from other context when Khenpo was talking about that there is no Buddha outside. And so, he talked about dualistic fixation and how it could be purified through this practice. So he give us an example? Khenpo was like, well, let's think about example. Well, what can I say? The meaning of what I was saying is that when we make emanated offerings, when we emanate things, right, we offer baths and gifts to the Buddhas, it's important for us to keep in mind that, it's not the case that the Buddha is somewhere outside. Often that's what we think. Well, the Buddha was a person, the Buddha Shakyamuni, he lived 2,500 years ago, then he's died, so he's dead now, right? Gone, no more. The Dharma is just like what he said. It's like this kind of words that remain. And Sangha is these people who study those words. And all of this is out there. And as for me, I'm just no one. Yeah, I'm just this try my best. I'm like an ordinary person and confused. And, those are the precious ones, the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. And I'm just like this confused, ordinary people. And we do have this strong, strong fixation on this, someone is good, someone is bad. And someone, when there's an example of the greatest Tibetan yogi, Milarepa, and what he achieved, we say, well, of course, he was a Buddha. Where is he and where is me? I can't do it. But this is a really wrong understanding, because a Buddha is nothing other than the nature of our own mind. It's the true essence, suchness of our being. It's, that's what is a Buddha. And Milarepa was able to actualize that, not because he was from beginning somewhat better than us, but because he put forth a lot of effort to purify all the negativities that he had committed. If he didn't actually strive and put forth effort, he would have fallen into hell. Instead of becoming a Buddha, he would be another hell being, because he had killed 35 people, right? And the beginning of, the early young ages of his life. But then through intense practice, he came to actualize his true nature, which is the true nature of us as well. It's not like he's somewhat better or had a better start than us, much worse actually than us. And yet he came to realize that. So we are all, already the Buddhas. We have that nature and we just need to actualize it. And the issue is only that it's covered by stains and adventitious obscurations, and we need to purify them. So to give an example is our true nature is like sky, and all the obscurations of disturbing emotions, dualistic fixations, graspings, and so on are the clouds. And the practice that we need to have is the practice of purification and accumulation of merit, the one that we can do by making offerings. We purify and we accumulate merit. And that is like wind. So when the wind comes, it blows away the clouds. So, blueness of the sky that's always there, but was just unseen, can reveal itself. So that's an example, perhaps, that could work here well. And that's what I was saying, that how this practice is engaging with revealing our true nature. So, and then we ran out of time for today.
Sebe Zole Roa Rorasho Changju Samjo Rinpoche Maje Panam Kejuroshi Keba Nyamba Meba Kongne Kondo Belwarasho